Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something absolutely fundamental, water. Clean, accessible water. It sounds basic, but, with global shortages,
Yeah.
infrastructure issues, contamination.
It's becoming a real challenge for a lot of people.
Exactly. Relying on the old municipal systems feels, well, increasingly risky sometimes.
Definitely.
So our sources today point us towards something called the air fountain system. And honestly, it sounds a bit sci-fi, pulling pure, drinkable water right out of the air.
Yeah.
So our mission isn't just like a product review. It's a critical look. Is this technology atmospheric water generation, or AWG? Is it actually a practical path to water independence, or just, another fancy gadget?
That's the perfect question to ask because the need is absolutely real. And, the core tech, AWG, it's not brand new.
Right.
It's been used for years, decades even, in big-scale applications, military disaster relief, places where you need reliable water fast. What the air fountain seems to do is take that proven idea and shrink it down, make it viable for a home. And the appeal, cutting the cord from those maybe unreliable, maybe expensive central systems.
Okay, let's unpack that then. Let's get right into how it works. The sources describe it as compact, self-contained, pure, mineral-rich water, no plumbing, no refills needed. But what's really happening inside?
Well, the key thing to grasp is it's not just filtering water that's already there. It's actually harvesting it, creating it from the air itself.
Creating water.
Yes. And importantly, the design emphasizes sustainability. They mention compatibility with clean energy, specifically solar panels.
Ah, okay. Solar's a big plus.
Huge. It immediately makes you think off-grid or remote living, doesn't it?
It does.
And-
So walk us through it. How does air become drinkable water? I see a four-stage process mentioned, starting with air intake.
That's step one. Pretty straightforward. The unit pulls in the air around it.
Some ambient air.
Exactly. And the first thing it does is run that air through a filter. Gets rid of dust, pollen, the larger particles, cleans the input.
Okay, makes sense. Stage 2 is condensation. This sounds like the core science bit, maybe where the energy comes in.
This is where the magic, or rather the science, happens. And you're right to think about energy. The air fountain uses what's called a thermoelectric cooling process. Think Peltier effect.
Peltier, not like a big compressor in an AC unit.
Exactly. It's more solid state. It uses electricity to create a big temperature difference very quickly inside a chamber. That forces the air temperature below the dew point.
Oh, okay.
And when that happens, the water vapor in the air turns into liquid water. Droplets form and collect.
That distinction is really important, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
traditional AWG often uses those big, power-hungry compressors.
It is. Using a solid-state approach could be more energy efficient, though, yeah, we definitely need to talk about the overall energy use later.
Agreed. So, water is collected. What's next?
Yeah.
Stage 3, filtration and mineralization.
Right. So this collected water is already pretty pure because it hasn't gone through miles of pipes or chemical treatments.
True.
But it still needs processing. It goes through multi-stage filters. Typically, you'll see things like high-quality carbon filters.
For taste and any leftover, tiny volatile thing.
Precisely. Polishes the taste, removes VOCs. Then, crucially, UV sterilization.
UV light. To kill off any potential bacteria or microbes.
Yes, and without using chemicals like chlorine, that's a big plus for many people.
And the mineralization part, why add minerals back in?
Good question, because the condensation process basically creates distilled water. Very pure, but also a bit flat tasting.
Oh, right.
So the system passes the water through natural minerals, adds back essentials like calcium, magnesium. It's not just for that smooth sort of spring water taste, but also for health benefits.
Got it. And finally, stage 4 is just storage and dispensing.
Yeah, holds the water in a BPA-free tank ready to use. And the whole process, using humidity from the air, well, that's what makes it potentially ideal for places without reliable water lines, off-grid, rural areas.
Okay, let's shift gears now to efficiency. This feels like the heart of the matter, the trade-offs. We have data comparing the air fountain to traditional reverse osmosis systems, RO systems.
And this comparison is, frankly, quite stark. It really throws a spotlight on the hidden costs of some purification methods.
Hidden costs like water waste.
Exactly. RO is great at purifying, no doubt, but it's incredibly thirsty.
How thirsty?
The data suggests RO systems can waste up to 60% of the water they take in, just flushed away.
60%, wow.
Yeah, think about it. For every 1 liter of pure water you get in your glass, maybe 3 liters have gone down the drain.
That seems fundamentally wrong. especially when we're talking about water scarcity. We think we're fixing a problem, but we're making another one worse somewhere else.
Precisely. And this is where the air fountain comparison really hits home, because it's creating water from vapor, not filtering a bulk supply.
It produces
Zero wastewater.
zero.
Zero. All the water it collects and processes becomes usable drinking water. The contrast couldn't be clearer. That's a huge environmental win right there.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate. The friction point. You mentioned thermoelectric cooling. It avoids water waste, yes. But it uses electricity.
It does.
If this thing is running, say, 2047 to make its 8 or 10 liters a day, what's the energy cost? Are we just trading water waste for a higher carbon footprint from electricity generation?
That is absolutely the crucial question. It's complex. But the sources seem to suggest the AWG approach, especially when paired with renewables, comes out ahead long term.
How so?
Well, while the air fountain does consume energy, the ability to power it directly with local solar panels is key.
Right, the solar compatibility.
So, if you achieve water independence using the sun, you're potentially cutting out two massive environmental impacts: the physical wasting of water and the huge carbon footprint of treating and pumping municipal water across vast distances.
Okay. So it's a trade-off. Localized energy use, potentially from clean sources, versus centralized water waste and transport energy.
That seems to be the equation, yes.
All right, if we accept that trade-off for a moment, what about the end product, the water quality itself? We talked about TDS, total dissolved solids.
Yeah, the numbers here look really good for the air fountain, consistently testing in the excellent range, about 25 to 50 parts per million TDS.
And traditional systems.
Much more variable depending on the tap water source, right? Often between 80 and, well, sometimes up to 200 ppm or even higher.
So lower TDS plus no old pipes. That explains the reports of a cleaner, smoother taste. No chlorine, less chance of heavy metals.
That's the idea. The purity is kind of built into the process from the start, and think about maintenance too.
Right, what's involved?
For the air fountain, the sources say it's pretty low. Change filters maybe every 6 months.
And RO systems.
Generally require more frequent servicing. Filter changes, sometimes membrane replacements, which can be costly. And they totally depend on your existing water supply and pressure.
Whereas the air fountain is self-contained, independent.
Completely.
Okay, let's broaden out again. Sustainability, portability. How practical is this thing day to day? What are the bigger environmental wins?
Well, we touched on zero water waste, huge. But also, think about plastic.
Bottled water.
If this provides reliable drinking water at home, it could eliminate the need for buying bottled water. Massive reduction in plastic waste.
Good point.
And because it's using atmospheric moisture, it's not depleting groundwater sources or aquifers.
Which is a growing problem in many areas.
Absolutely. Add the solar compatibility, reducing the carbon footprint associated with water transport. It starts to paint a pretty compelling environmental picture.
And practically speaking, installation. RO often needs a plumber.
That's another big difference. The air fountain is described as essentially plug and play.
Really, just plug it in.
Pretty much. Plug it in, turn it on, it starts making water, no plumbing needed.
That makes it super portable then.
Exactly. You could use it in an RV, a cabin, a temporary office, even for emergency situations where water lines are down. That flexibility is a major advantage.
What about lifespan? How long is this thing built to last?
The sources mention 10 years or more for the air fountain unit itself.
And RO.
While the core RO membranes often need replacing every, say, 3 to 5 years, depending on usage and water quality, so potentially longer lifespan for the air fountain system overall.
Okay, the durability and flexibility sound great, especially for like remote communities or disaster relief. But the humidity question, we have to address it.
The elephant in the room for any AWG, yes.
The claim is 8 to 10 liters a day. How much humidity does it actually need to hit that consistently?
That's the realistic limit, absolutely. It depends on the environment. The sources suggest that 8 to 10 liter figure is achievable in, let's say, moderate climates.
Define moderate.
Think reasonable temperatures and relative humidity levels generally above 40%. The machine is designed to adjust its production based on conditions.
Okay, so it's not going to be churning out water in the middle of the Sahara Desert where humidity might be like 10%.
Probably not as its primary water source, no. But for a vast majority of places where people live suburban areas, most rural areas' worldwide humidity levels are usually well within its effective operating range.
And 8 to 10 liters. That's enough for drinking water for a family.
For drinking and cooking for a small family or maybe an office team, yes, quite sufficient. And that reliable output, even outside the tropics, is what makes it interesting for those disaster relief scenarios or small communities without treatment plants.
Yeah.
Quick deployment, independent operation, very valuable.
Right. So we've gone through the science, the waste comparison, the practical side. Bringing it all together, what's the final verdict for someone listening? Is this tech genuinely practical? Worth the cost, worth the energy trade-off?
Look, based on the sources, the verdict seems pretty clear. The air fountain system appears practical, it's highly efficient in terms of water use, and it delivers on that promise of high-quality water and genuine independence.
So more than just a cool gadget.
Oh, definitely. It feels like a significant step. It tackles that energy versus waste trade-off in a smart way, favoring, local harvesting and eliminating water waste over those big, clunky, often wasteful centralized systems.
And maybe that's the real takeaway here. It forces a kind of mindset shift, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, instead of just accepting the limitations or, frankly, the fragility of some of these huge centralized water systems, this technology suggests we can tap directly into nature's abundance, the atmosphere.
Harnessing it locally.
Exactly. It's not just about getting water anywhere, anytime. It feels like a move from dependency towards something more.
Well, self-sustaining, efficient, localized production.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And that actually leads perfectly into the final thought we wanted to leave you, the listener, with.
Okay.
If the future of managing key resources, like water, involves moving away from these massive, complex, sometimes wasteful infrastructures, and moving towards more adaptable, localized harvesting using the air, the sun, local ecosystems directly, what other essential things beyond just water could we potentially provide for ourselves using similar self-sustaining approaches?
Interesting.
It really makes you think about reducing our reliance on these huge, often fragile global systems and finding smarter, less wasteful ways to meet our core needs locally. Something to mull over.